Before we dive into this story, let me ask you something. What would you do if the person you thought was just another quiet soldier suddenly revealed a skill so deadly, so precise, that even the toughest Navy SEAL commander froze in disbelief? That's exactly what happened the moment a woman cleaning her sniper rifle was discovered to hold a kill record of 3,050 meters, the farthest confirmed shot in modern history. What you're about to read is a story of silence, secrets, and shadows. But before we begin, make sure you hit subscribe right now, because stories like this one, real edge-of-your-seat military thrillers, are the kind you'll never want to miss. She was always the quiet one, the woman who kept to herself on base, moving like a ghost through the halls of the forward operating compound. Her uniform crisp, her demeanor calm, her hands steady as if she had been born without nerves, and for weeks the Navy SEALs around her thought she was just another logistics officer, maybe a tech or a medic, someone useful but far from the brutal, sharp edge of combat. Yet there was something about the way she carried her weapon, even when disassembled, that unsettled the men who had lived and bled through every battlefield from Ramadi to Kandahar. Something about her eyes that seemed to calculate ranges and wind speed even when she was only glancing at the horizon for a second. And though nobody dared ask, rumors swirled like desert dust storms, whispers of a past tied not to conventional service, but to black operations so deep they didn't exist on record, the kind of missions where silence replaced medals, where shadows carried names that never reached daylight, and where a single breath could decide the fate of nations. And it was during one routine evening, when the compound was quiet except for the hum of generators and the muffled banter of exhausted men, that the SEAL commander, a veteran with scars across his knuckles and a steel hardness in his jaw, walked past the armory and froze dead in his tracks, for there she sat, legs folded beneath her, cleaning a long-barreled sniper rifle with such intimacy, it looked less like maintenance and more like communion. And on the table before her, instead of the usual issued gear, lay a laminated sheet marked with a number that sent shivers down his spine. 3,250 meters. Confirmed kill record, a figure so staggering that even the elite in his unit, men who had studied legendary Canadian, British, and American snipers, felt the air change when they saw it, because no one reached that number without being both genius and ghost. No one achieved it without stepping into the darkness of war where even luck feared to tread. And in that moment, though she didn't lift her head, though her hands moved with calm precision across the bolt and barrel, the commander knew he wasn't looking at a support officer anymore. He was staring at the most dangerous soldier he had ever met, and perhaps if fate turned cruel, the deadliest enemy he could ever face. The next morning, the compound buzzed with unease, for news had traveled fast among the SEALs, men who normally scoffed at rumors now whispering like recruits on their first deployment. And when the woman walked past them with her steady stride and her unreadable face, there was a tension in the air thick enough to cut, because they didn't know whether to salute her, fear her, or challenge her. And the commander, who had spent years leading warriors into fire, found himself questioning his instincts, wondering if bringing her into the next mission would be a mistake or the key to survival. And so when orders came down from higher command, an impossible assignment deep in enemy-held mountains where insurgent leaders were believed to be gathering for a war council, the decision was forced, because the mission required eyes sharper than drones and a trigger finger steadier than steel, and no one in the unit, not even the most seasoned sniper, could deny that she was built for the shot, and yet trust was a fragile thing, cracking under the weight of every secret she refused to share, for when pressed about her record, she only replied with silence, and when asked about her past, she only gave a faint smile that chilled rather than comforted. And so the SEALs carried their doubt into the dark mountains, climbing through dust and shadow until they reached an overlook where the valley spread below them like an open grave. And it was there, under the cloak of night, that she assembled her rifle with movements so smooth they looked rehearsed 1,000 times, and though the commander wanted to believe in her, He felt the knot in his chest tighten when she whispered the wind speed to the decimal, when she called distances before his own rangefinder confirmed them, when she steadied her breath and locked eyes not with the valley but with fate itself. And then, as if the world itself paused to listen, she squeezed the trigger, and a target, over 3 kilometers away, fell before the sound of the shot even reached the SEALs. And for the first time in his life, the commander felt both awe and fear blend into one, realizing that trust was no longer optional, because without her, they were already dead. But war has a way of twisting truth, of turning legends into burdens and allies into suspects, and soon the commander discovered that her presence came with shadows darker than any valley, for intelligence intercepted from enemy comms revealed something chilling. The insurgents already knew about a sniper with a 3,250-meter record, and they spoke her name not with fear, but with reverence, as if she had once been theirs, a ghost who had hunted on their behalf before turning away, and, though she denied it, the commander couldn't shake the thought that perhaps her kill record wasn't earned in service of their flag, but against it. Perhaps her silence wasn't loyalty, but guilt, and the mission that followed only deepened the wound. For as the SEALs moved through a mountain pass, ambush fire rained down with such precision it felt orchestrated by someone who knew their playbook, their timings, their tactics, and when she broke cover to deliver shot after impossible shot that saved them from annihilation, her skill was unquestionable, but so too was the enemy's uncanny knowledge of their every move. And the commander began to wonder if she was both savior and spy, guardian and traitor, her allegiance a coin forever flipping in the dark, and the doubt grew unbearable when, during a firefight that stretched into dawn, he saw her hesitate, saw her lower her rifle for a split second before finishing the kill, as if recognition had struck her, as if the face in her scope was not an enemy, but a ghost from her own past, and though she never admitted it, the truth bled between the cracks. She was hunted not because of what she had done for them, but because of what she had once done for someone else, and the commander realized that her kill record was more than a number. It was a trail of bodies leading back to secrets buried so deep that even the Pentagon had chosen silence over exposure, and if they survived, he knew survival would not end the war between them. It would only sharpen it. The final mission came like a storm at midnight. A Black Ops strike against a fortress hidden in the mountains where the insurgent war council had gathered, and though the SEALs were hardened, though they had faced death in every corner of the earth, there was a tension unlike any before, because this time their survival hinged not on firepower or numbers, but on the single woman who had carried both salvation and suspicion in her silence. And as they crawled into position under the icy wind, the commander finally confronted her, demanding the truth, demanding to know whether she had once fought for the very men they were about to kill. And she looked at him, her eyes steady, her voice low, and admitted only that she had done what she had to do, that every shot she had taken had saved someone. Else, even if it damned her, and with no time for more, she set her sights and pulled the trigger again and again, every shot landing with impossible perfection until the fortress erupted in chaos, until leaders fell before they even knew they were hunted, until the valley echoed with the collapse of an army that would never rise again. And when it was over, when the SEALs exfiltrated under the cover of smoke and silence, the commander turned to her not with suspicion, but with respect, for though he would never know the full truth, though her past would remain as shadowed as the mountains themselves, he understood one thing with absolute clarity. Without her, without the woman who had once sat cleaning her rifle like it was an altar, none of them would be alive. And though she carried the weight of 3,250 meters on her shoulders, though she bore the whispers of betrayal and the scars of silence, she had proven that sometimes the deadliest warrior is not the loudest, not the most decorated, but the one who walks, alone, unseen, unfathomed, and unforgettable.